Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. On Twitter, I recently compared Tesla to the same standard of luxury as a Mercedes. However, I don't feel like this statement was overly agreed on and possibly stepped out a little too far and revealed my level of fanboy and am delusional when it comes to anything else. Well, it's quite an extreme when you look at the new Mercedes EQS and compare it to a Model S even. The opulence is overwhelming in the Mercedes. But am I actually right? What if we remove all the glitter from the Mercedes? All those elegant buttons and air vents? When we strip it down, are we actually any better off in the Mercedes when it comes to luxury? What is Mercedes offering extra? A scented cabin? Massaging seats? The large screen in the EQS, despite likely costing about 10 times the price of the Tesla screen, actually ends up with a smaller viewing screen because it's just over the top for the sake of being over the top, rather than improving driver experience, as that's all Mercedes has. The illusion of appearing to be more. They add in lights and buttons to add to the effect. More is more, except it clearly is not. The Tesla, despite having no buttons on the console, ends up offering more features than the Mercedes. In fact, if you added most of these features to the Mercedes that come standard on the Tesla, then your Mercedes would end up costing probably $20,000 or $30,000 more again. Now, wouldn't the more luxurious car be the one that has all these features standard? Yes, Teslas come with high specifications, even the standard Model 3. Tesla just don't need some ostentatious dash to showcase their offerings. They don't need any more demand, and there are plenty of Tesla owners telling everyone they know about every feature the Tesla has, most of which aren't even possible in a Mercedes. Now, in my Twitter comparison, it started by me saying that the Cybertruck was Ferrari performance. Very true. In fact, the quad motor will likely have a quicker 0 to 60 time than any production car Ferrari has ever had in history. Keep in mind, this is a full-on pickup truck. I then went on to say it has Mercedes luxury at Ford prices. Check the Ford F-150 Raptor prices if you don't believe me, and they don't come close to the features you get in a Cybertruck. But it was mostly the Mercedes luxury people had the hardest time accepting. The comparison I used was, well, I thought it only fair to compare a Mercedes pickup truck with a Cybertruck, like for like, as best as possible. Pickup trucks have historically tended to be the worst interiors of all car types. It's also one of the hardest interiors to make a clean and tidy design. But in the Mercedes, look at all the buttons and air vents and everything else. This is hideous. If you don't find it hideous, then perhaps your eyes are not ready to adapt. But I think I can safely say on behalf of all Tesla owners whose eyes have adapted to minimalism, it's hideous. What additional luxury does it even have over Tesla? None. I think absolutely none. This was the Mercedes X-Class pickup truck, which admittedly is using a design from a few years ago. But still, we had the Model 3 then too. So perhaps this was an interior from Mercedes when they weren't really trying, or didn't need to try because everyone had found their place in the market until there was a disruptor. So what if we compare Mercedes' level of luxury when they actually are trying very hard? How about if we examine the EQS? I mean, just look at it, oozing opulence all over. And this is one very expensive car to buy and costs even more to build. In its defense, it's done its best to reduce the air vent footprint, and the air vents they do have, they've tried to make them as pretty as possible. Obviously, the main thing they have done is electrify the entire dash. You see, these are electric cars. When we think of electric, we think of digital screens and lights. So you can bet your bottom dollar Mercedes will double down on lights and screens to give that more electric feeling. The more electricity being used inside the cabin, then you might think they have ample energy left for range and performance. Unfortunately, you can look and feel as electric as you want, but it won't extend your battery range. In the Mercedes, the buttons are minimal too. It's like they understand minimalism is the correct direction for auto design and have thus cut back dramatically on the buttons. But they still can't let go of the last dozen or so. But are buttons luxury? Perhaps we should define luxury. Luxury is comfort and ease. Well, if we start from there, then let's see. We have ride comfort, a Mercedes with air suspension and a Tesla with air suspension. They both have very comfortable, electrically adjustable, air-cooled and heated seats. They come with exceptional sound systems, with large entertainment screens, individual rear seating. They also have very quiet cabins due to no motor and double glazing. But how does Mercedes luxury extend from there? Or even other even more luxurious brands? Okay, you can argue with things like shag pile carpeting is obviously more luxurious, but some of them go beyond actual luxury itself and end up just being expensive for the sake of it, just for marketing, but actually no value added to the experience. Remember, everyone else is making cars to sell to you, marketing all these unique features, making you think they are important, whereas Tesla are just making the best cars they can think of. We need to distinguish between luxury and excessive. That doesn't add value, and actually goes from being luxurious to just straight out opulence. whereas Tesla is more of a utilitarian luxury. Now Teslas actually lead the way in a lot of luxury due to their engineering abilities. For example, Teslas have self-opening doors. I mean, that's not talked about much, but it's a really cool feature. And the Mercedes does now too, but I'm pretty sure Tesla were there years before. I don't think they were there first. Correct me if I'm wrong, but possibly I recall the Rolls-Royce Phantom having self-opening doors. Right, sure, because that's the level of luxury self-opening doors are. Rolls-Royce. Yet Tesla had them. Why? Because Tesla's engineers could produce them that much cheaper, and it's such a luxurious feature, so they did it. And that's the thing. It's one thing making a car luxurious for the sake of it. Or we can use Napa leather here, and some nice trim here, an extra monitor here, gold-plated buttons, nice orange stitching. I mean, did you see the Audi with the wing mirrors and camera? This looks like the most over-engineered thing I've seen Audi do for a while, when a simple mirror would have done the same job. It still has a camera that sticks out almost as much as a wing mirror anyway, so what was it achieving? Tesla's side cameras are actually probably good enough not to even need wing mirrors, and the large screen already shows them, whereas Audi are adding in 2 extra cameras and screens. That's not luxury, it's over-the-top engineering. So they're covering these cars in glitter with all their cool interior lighting too. But the thing is, they can't engineer real luxury yet because they don't have good enough engineers. Tesla's engineers are creating new levels of luxury that people don't even realize. They're also finding ways of reducing costs of other so-called luxuries to make them more mainstream and affordable, like Rolls-Royce luxury level self-opening doors. The technologies that Tesla can create reach new heights of luxury. The fact that Tesla have been able to remove all console buttons and make an intuitive, clever, easy enough to use interface that offers an array of features never even fathomable in a traditional vehicle is something consumers are yet to realize. To me, luxury is being able to watch Netflix when I have to sit in the car waiting for my wife to come back from shopping, or, of course, watch some Tesla Economist on YouTube. Even when I was driving a BMW iX, I immediately felt lost without my Tesla screen. I imagine all of you Tesla owners know what I mean when you drive another car without the control panel. It makes driving so dull. The Tesla, however, next month will be even less dull due to some new features, continuous updates. That also seems pretty luxurious to me. Just an over-the-air update too. No need to ever have to go to a luxurious car dealership to get a checkup. It may sound like a free Mercedes car loan is luxury whilst you get a service or an oil change. But for me, luxury is not having to go there in the first place. A Model S also comes with a HEPA filter, giving you the cleanest air in a Tesla. All those brake dust particles and things you might be breathing in. To me, clean air is the kind of luxury I like, better than, say, a Rolex clock in the dash. For me, luxury is knowing that I am in the safest vehicle on the planet for my family, in that not only will it absorb an impact the safest way, it will also do the most to avoid it in the first place. Luxury is having a car that has a lot of power and is very quick. To me, luxury is never having to go to a gas station or even pay for gas. Luxury is waiting outside a restaurant for your car to be summoned. For me, luxury is having a more energy-dense battery, meaning fewer battery cells are required, thus reducing the weight significantly and improving handling and performance that much better, whilst also having more range. For me, a larger viewable screen is more luxurious, rather than 3 smaller screens. But when it comes to automotive luxury, in my opinion, what is the most pinnacle of luxury? Well, I would have to say it would be having a chauffeur, your own private driver. It costs a lot more to keep a full-time employee than it does any car, at least in most developed nations. Now, that is the pinnacle of luxury. The Mercedes offer lifetime chauffeurs available 24 hours, 7 days a week, even on Christmas. Tesla have just about cracked FSD. But hey, how can we expect everyone else to think that way if Tesla don't have a marketing department like everyone else, trying to convince you luxury is something else, something they can actually offer? And even my Model 3 seats are incredibly comfortable on road trips, more than my E-Class Mercedes was. So I can only imagine that Model S is that much better again. Okay, they may not massage you, but that's likely somewhat gimmicky. To me, a company that can make a vehicle this luxurious would be an outstanding investment if they were able to do it at a profit. When we put it like this, it really just feels like Mercedes and others simply aren't good enough at engineering and manufacturing to even make cars close to as luxurious as Tesla. They don't have the tech or software expertise to make it work either. When you ignore price tags and things being expensive for the sake of them, rather than the actual value they add, then it's really about comfort and ease. As far as I can tell, the Tesla definitely wins on both of those measurements. Now, at the risk of being inundated with me being called a Tesla fanboy, I'm going to say it anyway. As far as I'm concerned, as to what is real luxury that actually matters and makes a difference, the Model S and X are hands down the most luxurious vehicles ever produced on the planet. Yes, more than Rolls-Royce too, not just Mercedes. Yes, the Model S is still an expensive car, but all that expense has been invested into real value, not gimmicks or expense for the sake of it. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.